Sir.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
I know you've been waiting on this.
Oh yeah,
I know you've been waiting. Oh man. Oh,
oh yeah, I'm ready.
I know you've been waiting. Oh, I just got the pop up too. Oh yeah, you know it's serious. We're live.
Yeah, you know it's serious when we're live doing this today.
Yes. I mean, some stuff in life is just urgent, brother. I said, but I know we don't. You don't waste time, so
This is
that's why
urgent.
we need you on these.
Yeah,
That's why we need you on social media.
I kind of been keeping quiet on everything because I don't want to,
I know.
you
I
know.
know.
Look, got a lot to say. Been trying to keep quiet because I don't want to, you know, you know how people are.
Listen, just one thing at a time.
Want to take it a step at a time, a step at a time. All right.
Let's see.
So LSU.
My beloved Tigers, brother. What's going on?
Um, I at one point this weekend I thought I had died and gone to hell.
Well, glad you didn't. You got time to make heaven, brother.
Yeah. Solely just because we haven't lost to Vandy since we've been alive.
1990. I think that was like a Hail Mary. Like we had scored it on a Hail Mary, but it was called back or something like that. It was, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. But nonetheless, in our lifetime, we both born in '93.
Yeah. We just haven't
So
seen it. Haven't seen it ever, and it shouldn't have happened. And shame on Brian Kelly for letting it happen. And it's in my very humble opinion, I might not always be right. I think it's time for Brian Kelly to pack his bags and get going. Don't let the
you
door
know, a
hit
lot of I know a lot of people have that take right now. I know you said BK goes to PK. BK. I remember
you.
you
Yeah,
said that in the off season.
last year.
Yeah,
I think it's
BK
time.
going to BK.
I think it's time. I think he needs to
Mm,
get out of here and go do something with his life. Maybe stay away from coaching for a little while.
mm.
Like I
In the
said,
booth or you on the show?
I don't know. I don't care. Just get out of my get out of my city.
Out of my city.
This is our city. Get out. We don't want you here. We'll let you. We'll call you back when we get checks in the mail. No time sooner. No time later. We'll let you know though. We'll let you know. Your check will be in the mail. We ain't gotta pay. We ain't gotta pay him all. Outright.
I know you said obviously everything starts at the top. I know when you had text me earlier this week, you gave me four questions. Said what changes the team needs to make. Is the team still in control? Can the season be saved? And last but not least, should LSU follow Penn State's lead and fire Brian Kelly before he ruins us even more? I guess we could just start off with at the top. You first asked me what changes. I know you said we could work to BK in a little bit, but
Yeah.
I know you said at first fire Joe Sloan, and it's interesting you had brought that up because
Because
a former
former
Tiger had talked about it, the same thing.
Yeah.
Brady Fajoko said get rid of him.
Yeah. Get rid of him. LSU wins the national championship if we fire Joe Sloan.
And that
You
was
know,
early this season.
and they had other stuff up this week that come out. People making fun of Joe Sloan, rightfully so. Of what was it? They said, oh, the play calling video. Did I send you that?
Yeah. On third and 20, third and 23, we're gonna run a draw. Let's
We
see.
are so bad right now. People are resorting back. Louisiana people are resorting back to hoodoo and voodoo.
Now that's low. There you go. Look, you don't need to resort to demonic things, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. The thing is, when we talk about Joe Stone, I go back to Matt House from 2 years ago. You
Yeah,
know, just like we always talked about, you know, what LSU has become, you know, growing up, you know, they built their legacy on defensive and like smash mouth football and offense. And, you know, but in the last 5 or so years, they really changed their philosophy, which I have no issue with because, you know, growing up during the Brian Kelly era, you know, it's long over. I mean, Les Miles era, it was long overdue. Even with great teams, he was just very rigid. And I was a big fan of his, but his stuff needed to change on that philosophy, which it did. You know, you're seeing 2019, of course, 2023. If we have a competent, remotely competent defense 2 years ago, you know, we be in play for a national title. Not to say we win, of course, but you can only put yourself in position. Now bring up Matt House because after 2 years, you know, they cut bait with him because and we had talked about this last week, you just cannot keep your job when you have an historic offense and you can't even your job is easy.
yeah,
Team sports is so complimentary and you got to have that balance. You don't have to be special on both sides. That's unrealistic. I'm not asking for unrealistic. I'm asking for a little help.
yeah. You just have to be able to help your strong suit. Right now, our strong well after this weekend, I don't know, but
Hmm.
definitely better than offense. You have to help the other side of the ball. Brian Kelly always talks about complementary football. I don't know if he knows what the word complementary means because he says a lot of stuff that in everybody else watching it is like you're not watching the same thing I'm watching. Week in and week out, like remember when he called us spoiled after the Florida game?
Yeah,
There was a
I
clip.
remember that.
I sent you this clip, but when Nick Saban was at LSU, they had
Oh
one
yeah,
and it was ugly. And he said, "Am I happy about the outcome? Yes, but if we're going to talk about the process on how we got to this outcome, absolutely not. We need to be better."
yeah. I remember you sent it to me. And it's a powerful message because Nick Saban has talked about this even long after he's gone as a coach. So you know, it's obviously winning is the main objective. It always beats the alternative of losing, but when you consider you can't keep getting away with being lucky and timely,
Exactly.
and it's important to really establish that. And that's why I said earlier this year, you know, even when we struggle with Tech, I said, listen, less than 25 points at home against Tech. I understand, you know, you just came off an emotional win on the road,
Yeah,
but you should at least pull away
ex-
at the crib.
exactly. Um, Van Buren's debut shouldn't have been in the Southeastern game. It should have been in the Tech game. Speaking of
Especially yeah.
in Joe Sloan, uh, one of my coworkers' sons played college football at Tech when Sloan was at Tech,
Mhm.
and he told his mom that the reason why Joe Sloan is a failure. My words, not hers, but it's because he keeps
Mhm.
running the same exact type of offense. He doesn't change. He'll run the draw on 3rd and 20, 4th and 30. He'll throw a wide receiver screen 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage because he thinks there's a chance for it to break out and go down the field. You know,
Yeah, it's just and what like I said, what makes it frustrating, like going back 2 years, is just you don't have to be spectacular the whole way through. I mean, because you already have one side of the ball just carrying the team.
yeah,
Matt House didn't have to be spectacular. Just be. I'm not advocating people being average in life, but let's just call it what it is. Your job is not as hard when you have an elite offense as a defensive coordinator, and vice versa. This year, I know you know the defense laid an egg. I mean, but consider they've carried this team all year.
and make no
We wouldn't have been in the top 10 without them.
make no mistake. When you look at our talent, we are not mediocre on offense at all.
Mm-mm, not at all.
What's holding us back, and I saw Matt Moscona posted a video. I don't know when he posted it, but he was saying maybe Brian Kelly should take over the play calling. He's done it before. He had to step back when he was at Notre Dame, but he's done it before. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Then maybe we can get both of those clowns out of Baton Rouge. Because, look, people can say what they want to say about LSU paying that buyout. They'll pay it. If we go 6-6 this year, they will pay the $50 million because you don't have to pay it all at once. You can pay it in installments. And they will get rid of Brian Kelly. And no one will lose sleep at night. His culture doesn't fit here. You know, if he was winning, it would be one thing, but he's not winning. He's losing to teams that we haven't lost to in 35 years. Historically bad teams, it's time to make a change. You have all the talent on offense in the world. You're too stubborn to make a change on the offensive coaching staff mid-season. It's going to cost you your job. I mean, a lot of that stuff we said last week about Joe Sloan, I was just joking. Now I'm dead serious.
You know, it's no leading into that. You know, we talk about is LSU still in control, and I kind of just morphed that into one question. They're still in control. Like, can this season be saved? You know, I'm looking at this remaining schedule. So, as of right now, where we're 5-2.
Yeah.
So, like I said, so we just lost to Vandy on the road. We got a big game against A&M this evening. I mean, like this coming Saturday evening. Got the bye week, and of course, at Bama, at home against Arkansas, at home against Western Kentucky, and we end the year in Norman, Oklahoma against the Sooners on the road. So, you know, it was interesting. You know, my family and I, we were talking about it a few days ago, like what's the remaining wins and losses for the team? Like, just realistically, do you have any? What is your remaining win total? So, you know, we're 7 games in, so we got 5. What you got?
One.
So, and that's Kentucky.
Western Kentucky. I'm going to be honest.
Here you go.
Watch Arkansas play against Texas A&M, and I've watched them play against Texas A&M and Tennessee. They will, if we can't put up points on offense, it doesn't matter how good our defense is. If our offense can't stay on the field for longer than 3 and out, we're done. We're going to lose to Arkansas. It's an 11 a.m. game and a trap game. You know, the defense can keep you in a lot of games lately, but when you have guys like Whit Weeks is out again this week, probably.
Yeah.
He's still in a boot. He's probably out again this week. If your defense cannot contain a running quarterback who destroyed you in a half last year. And I mean, Diego Pavia, I hate that guy, but
The Mafia. Pavia Mafia.
I don't hate him because he just, you know, how do I say this? I don't hate him because he's like talented. I hate him because I don't know if this is true or not, you know, but apparently his attorneys are trying to get him a 7th year.
Yep.
That's what's wrong with college football these days. You know, it's too much. Instead of playing your 4 5 years, you want your 6th or 7th year. You know, I don't like it. I really don't.
When you get to like 6, 7 plus, you know, it's
men should not be playing with 18 to 20-year-olds. You want to be a grown man and go play with 18 and 20-year-olds, go to the NFL.
right there way.
I'm fine if you got an early birthday and you just wait your turn and you play. And, you know, 22, 23. You hit that 24, 25 mark, 26. I think, let's see how old he is. let's see. I don't have my computer on me. I mean, I got my computer on me.
24.
24. He's,
And so,
next year if he plays again, he'll be 25 for Vandy.
yep.
Time to go. You go get a job. You and Vandy, you smart enough. You getting a good degree. Go get a job.
Harvard of the South.
They shouldn't be
As
running.
Skip Bayless like to call it.
They shouldn't be running a walker on the field for you to walk across the field, walk to the sideline. All them gymnastics are like 5, 6 years, maybe 10 years younger than us, and they're retiring because their bodies can't take it no more. It's time for it's time for Pavia to pack it up. Them college kids, leave them 18, 19, 20-year-olds alone. Go play in the NFL if you want to keep playing. Move on.
Whether the Pavia Mafia is here in the SEC or not, just we still got to go out and play these games. Just going back to your original question about the schedule. To be honest with you, I will say greatest case scenario they only lose 2 more. I say greatest case scenario go 8-4, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I would say looking at the schedule, I can go back to it. There we go. I'm gonna say, listen, they're desperate for a win at home. They need that crowd. I'm gonna say we beat Texas A&M, and I say that largely because every year, and I get every year is different, but trends do carry typically. If we can beat Johnny Manziel, who came a year removed from winning the Heisman with Mike Evans, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame, so if we could beat them, we could beat that tandem. We could beat this tandem.
Yeah.
So it's like, and like I said, I know it's not apples to apples, but they still A&M still hasn't beaten us in Baton Rouge since they've been in the conference.
Yeah.
Alabama, even with the bye week, I think we lose.
Yeah.
They're just a better team. Arkansas, I see that as a win for us because they just can't stop anybody. And I mean, they're going to be another tough out for our defense, but I just feel like we can make enough plays if given the time and the offensive line. I really just don't trust Arkansas's defense. WKU is a layup, and I said we end the season with the loss in Norman. It's like the best Oklahoma team I've
I
seen in
am
a while.
as optimistic as you. I
Mhm.
got.
Not many people are.
I hate it because you're right. History plays into it. They haven't won here in forever, and they're also coming off a $50,000 fine because they tried to pull their best Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin didn't even break the Lane Kiffin rule yet.
Man, oh man.
Lane Kiffin's famous for that. And they didn't even break the Lane Kiffin rule. But it's just me. I look at that team and then I look at how unprepared they were for a running quarterback this weekend.
Mhm.
And you have a running quarterback coming in. And I don't know if that's Baker with the defense that's not getting them prepared for a running quarterback. I don't know if it's just with Weeks being out and that's your leader. I don't know what's going on, but you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
You
Without question. Yeah, just like I said, I goes back to my what I was saying before at the start. I just have more faith that they're going to get a turnaround because they wouldn't be as good this season without the defense. Like
Oh,
they had a bad game. It's an untimely bad game. Offense. You could say arguably they had their best game of the year offensively, but poor timing with the defense. Like I said, I'm willing to give the defense a pass because just for that reason alone, they just not in this position. Like I said, and I said, you asked me, can the season be saved? They just got to win out ideally. I know that's really optimistic. They need even when you win out, you still need tons of help. Like you need Vandy to take a couple. Actually, I take it back because I know my dad was saying that the teams you lose to, Ole Miss, Vandy, you need to let them keep winning because at least the loss will look as bad. But they need some type of help.
They need some type of help. Clemson at the beginning of the season, we thought that was a huge win. It's not. You know, Clemson is not that good. They're just not a good football team this year. You know, I think what it boils down to is Penn State set the presidents to fire a coach
Yeah.
with a high buyout. I think we need to follow suit. It's not going to get any better under Brian Kelly. I mean, he can't win in the SEC. He's got talent on talent on talent on talent on offense. But a terrible offensive line. If your offensive line coach is as good as you say he is, your offensive line, it don't matter who they put in there, should be doing a fantastic job. You know?
Yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't have, I wrote in our note, share note, just I wouldn't have minded if James Franklin stayed at Penn State because I know when you look back, obviously we weren't alive for much of Joe Paterno's era. Obviously, legendary coach. I know the stuff with Jerry Sandusky off the field,
Yeah.
but just nonetheless, I think he has a icon. Just with all that this Jerry Sandusky stuff. Bill O'Brien really restabilized that program amidst all the drama from that scandal. But James Franklin made them they helped them reemerge into a national contender.
Yeah.
And I think one thing I always said about James Franklin is that listen, if you win back-to-back 9-win seasons at Vanderbilt of all places, listen, you can coach. Now, like I did understand their decision because the big regardless of what FS1 like Fox Sports like to say, Big Ten is not the same conference as the SEC.
Uh,
They got elite powers, but like just from top to bottom, I
yeah.
just don't see the argument. And like so I get that. I understand the argument. Big Ten is weaker, and he didn't win the big games. Very low slate against the higher opponents, especially considering the fact that they don't have the week gauntlet as the SEC does. And I
Yeah.
put to defend BCAS that he had a much harder slate in the SEC. Likewise, he restabilized this program. He's a great builder in general. He's won everywhere he's been. Obviously, back-to-back national titles in the D2 level. Went to Central Michigan, went to Cincinnati, which was where I first heard of him. Obviously, I looked at when he was at Notre Dame. Charlie Weiss did had a good run with the Irish, but I always go back to the fact that he had Brady Quinn, who has every major passing record in the school's history. Jeff Samard, the top three pass catcher in the school's history. Brian Kelly didn't have that,
No.
and
And it's
they were still considered. Go ahead.
funny you should bring up Notre Dame. Brian Kelly press conference when he said he wanted to come here said
Yeah.
he wanted to come here because he wanted to win a national title.
Hmm.
And 2 years out, where was Notre Dame last year?
And the title.
Yeah. So obviously, it's not that your team can't go. You know, I think it's your
Yeah.
team. It's you. You're the problem. You know, I think Brian Kelly will be the first coach to not win at LSU, win a title at LSU. Just because I'm still mad about the whole Vandy loss, I think we should fire Brian Kelly and go get Clark Lee.
Mm.
He don't have to
I
come.
say, look,
He don't have to come
go
in and
ahead.
set the world
My
on
bad.
fire and just piss Vandy off. Take that coach. You
Let's see.
realistically,
I just
you look at what Florida did this week. They got rid of Billy Napier. He wasn't cutting it by nobody's standards, actually, let alone LSU standards. And I get it. We have a high standard. but we have a high standard because of the talent level we have, the money, and why is football where we pour the most money in doing so poor of a job? When you have the baseball team who was in Washington this week, by the way,
Yep. Dan Shreveport.
yeah, getting recognized for winning the College World Series. Why is the baseball team winning 2 championships in the last 3 years? Why is the gymnastics team winning a championship? Why is the women's basketball team winning a national championship? You know why? Because their coach isn't incompetent.
Well, and also LSU's baseball program is historically better than the football program.
Yeah.
Sport is just not as popular nationally, but it's
Yeah.
an iconic sport nonetheless.
But we're pouring so much
So
money.
that doesn't surprise me as much.
Now, it doesn't surprise me that the baseball team wins. We just got a good coach. And with all the talent we have on the football team, if we had a coach with at least one brain cell, we would be winning a national title.
What did you say? Like two brain cells fight for third place or
Yeah.
something?
Brian Kelly don't even have two. He got one. And the one is fighting for third place.
I would say I look at and I know like going back to what you said about I remember back at the Florida game we're spoiled. I said, listen, I mean, I like we already talked about this, but I'll say it again. Listen, I love defending you guys, but you gotta understand people have to understand the context behind each program. See, college sports are not equal, so it's never has been, never will be. So when you have a sport that routinely who are historically successful in a sport, regardless of what sport it is, and you already have the fan buy-in, the financial buy-in from the boost, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
You have to churn out results. Now, he's a better coach to me than Billy Napier, of course, because and I was talking to my coworker the other day, just Billy Napier, one thing I respect about him is his teams play hard for him.
Yeah.
Like they don't quit. I mean, that's one thing that can always hang his hat on. It just didn't work out at Florida. Florida has a high standard as they should, a legendary program.
Yeah.
But at least Brian Kelly, first year he took the program to the conference title.
Yeah.
So it's and I get listen, 3 years ago, I get it. I get it. And I just historic offense in the second year, you just and I look and I've said and I bring it up to say this. A lot of people bring up, like the culture guy, like the Louisiana guy. I said, listen, Nick Saban wasn't Nick Saban from West Virginia. And where was Skip Berman from? Well, he spent a lot of time in Florida, of course, Miami area, but like you got ultimately just you could be LSU guy because but if you lose or misrepresent the program in any capacity, that goes out the window. And I bring up to say this. I said, listen, unless they just lose out completely, and it just looks bad. I would still retain him for one more season because I look at it from the standpoint of I go back to Mike Norvell with Florida State. Last year they went 2-10, and I said this is a horrible season for a
Mm-hmm.
legendary program like the Seminoles. I say you keep him for one this reason because he had won 24 games in 2 years, including undefeated, and he was snubbed from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now people look and like people talk about fire, and I get it from the surface level. At the 2-10 season at the football school is horrible, but you have to remember the Willie Taggart era, how bad that was, how bad Seminole fans just loathe, like just hate that era of the program's history. So listen, would you rather go back to that or keep Mike Norvell? Now this season with Mike Norvell, I can get it more so because they've fallen off a cliff again. But I said even after 2-10, I said retain him. So if I could defend Mike Norvell from staying after 2-10 because he did rebuild that program, I'm gonna support Brian Kelly because he did reestablish the consistency after the end of Coach O. Yeah, Coach O won a title, and like he did incredible, great recruiter, fiery guy. But was fortunate. He was fortunate to have like three of the greatest players in the history of the program, offense, iconic offense, and it's no problem with that. But you see what go happen to Gene Chizik at Auburn. Two
Yeah.
cheat codes, Cam Newton, Nick Fairley, fell off after 2 years. So I can get that as firing after 2 years after even winning the championship.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
I will say this. Whatever the LSU student section and LSU just as a whole wants to chant when we take the field with Brian Kelly, I 100% support him. I don't like him. I think
mhm,
it's time for him to go. I'm not like you. This is a great back and forth, two different opinions. I don't
mhm.
like it. I think it's time for him to go. You know, I get all everything you were saying, but it's the fact that you pull up the Nick Saban clip since we talking about how he called us spoiled as fans and everything. You pull up that
Mhm.
clip where he said, "I'm happy we won, but I'm not happy with the process. If you want to talk about the process of how things happen, I'm not happy with it." And then you just got Brian Kelly going in there, and yeah, he was defending his guys for the first time in his LSU career. He was actually defending his team, but being happy with how that game and it sounded enthusiastically about the outcome of that game when Florida threw 5 picks. Realistically, you should have been up 40 points or more.
Oh, listen, like I think, yeah, yeah. Look, I agree, and that's what Brandon Falco said. I said, listen, I get the take on both sides. I get it. I just because I didn't like him calling fans spoiled. Because listen, if you want to, you can't compare LSU football, Alabama football, SEC football to UConn football. That's just a whole different standard. UConn is a legendary basketball school. They don't prioritize football, so you can't. You could say spoiled on the surface. I said, listen, the standard is the standard. It's different. That's why I always say college sports is hard because it's not created equal.
Exactly.
So yes, it's harder. And like it's if you're fortunate enough to be at a school that prioritizes the sport that you coach, you're good. Yes, you have immense pressure. And like a lot of everything that everybody says on as far as fans concerned, be outlandish. Not everything is smart.
Yeah.
Not everything is emotionally. It's some a lot of it's emotionally driven, and fans need to dial it back a lot. But some stuff is legit. I mean, you call it spoiled, but listen,
When you calling a draw
you
play,
asked us, you asked the fan base. Go ahead, go
when you're calling a draw play on 3rd and 20, you deserve whatever you get from the fan base.
ahead. And the thing is, like I said this, I said, look, when you ask the fan base to donate to the NIL, you donate to this program, you come out, you support. I said, listen, I'll do it. The fan base is going to do it. They love the sport. I know what it returns to the community. I said, we'll do it. What do you get me in return?
We'll give you, but you have to put a product with all that money you spent on players. You have
With
to
100%.
put in you have to show us we're getting a return on our investment. And Brian Kelly, you have not done that. You are a clown. I don't even think Burger King would let you work over there.
They need fast food places always need people.
But
No, I want to read this comment. I got a Reddit page, but yeah, go. I'm
no, go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm gonna pull it up in a second. You know, there was Reddit thread from yesterday said Kelly has virtually no fan support I can see. What is about the guy that nobody seems to defend him? In the past, coaches on the out seem always to have a few defenders, but Kelly seems to have none. It wouldn't surprise me at all if all in his mind of how to get fired and stuff like that. And like, there's some people just saying like, he doesn't have much internet fan support. People who come on the internet are usually either enjoy or anger. And somebody else said, I wouldn't say I defend him, but I still feel he's a good coach. And I don't have faith we will find a better replacement this year, especially with Florida and Penn State looking for their new head coach. We would have to overpay with with that buyout just doesn't make sense. I copied another one, and I'll turn it over to you. This guy said the only defense I can give him is with his buyout. I'm fine with giving him one more season, provided only he put this in all caps only he finds a new OC and a new offensive line coach. And if that doesn't work, don't let the door hit you on the way out, like you said earlier.
I
I don't
can
think he's a bad coach, frankly. I think he's a very coach, but I fear he may be in over his head, especially specifically at LSU. Anywhere else, I think he would be a home run higher.
I
And,
think that is 100% right. Nobody supports him because he's a coward.
mm,
Nobody supports him because he's a coward. Edo, it didn't matter what you went on that radio show and you asked him. They lose the first game in his first coaching game at LSU. They lose that game. People come with really intelligent, hard hitting questions. Now, some of them might have been a little too much, but they ask really good questions. What does he do? The next radio show, they start filtering questions. They start screening questions, screening callers. Now they're to the point I don't even think they take callers on the radio show anymore for Brian Kelly because he's too much of a coward to answer. They have no accountability in that program. Don't think it's a
that's what some of like former players are saying, basically.
yeah, I don't think it's a player thing. At least with Edo, when you had Edo and he was going through that skid, he had
Yeah.
Telegram Monday. He would tell you the truth. It was his fault. He never once blamed a player. You go to Brian Kelly and you talk to him, Coach, what's wrong with what's going on? Well, Garrett Nussmeier needs to do better. He needs to throw the ball down the field. He needs to make smarter decisions. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. Harold Perkins Jr. needs to tackle better. He needs to do this better. He needs to put himself in place. Whit Weeks needs to not be pussy and not be hurt and come back because our defense can't function without him. You know? By the way, that's Brian Kelly's words. That's not mine. Brian Kelly blames his players. He does not inward and take accountability. He blames his players. Never his inept coaching staff with his loser OC who couldn't coach at a peewee level anymore. It's sad that
Yeah, that's basically what
most of the time you get an OC and it's an older
you said.
guy. They say the game's passed him by. He can't hack it. You know, I think I think Joe Sloan is just a little bit older than us, and the game has passed him by. He can't hack it. I don't even think he ever could hack it. Let's see, age. He's 38 years old. He's only 6 years older than us. The game has passed him by. He's like an old geriatric man. He should be coaching in North Carolina along with Belichick.
Yep, he'll be 39 by the end of the year.
Speaking of which, North Carolina football, when you do get rid of Belichick because he's not doing what you thought he was going to do, we have a coach for you. You can come get Joe Sloan. We would gladly walk you over with his outdated coaching philosophies and his outdated playbook. I think it would be a great fit for your university.
Like I said, I go back to Joe Sloan. They have to. They need the last month and change of their lives, the last month of football of their lives. So as far as not literally, but just as far as LSU, because it's not a good look. Um, I love to be patient with coaches. I know in college is it's pretty steep challenge. Go ahead, go ahead.
You know what my last straw was? Not only
What's
did
up?
I could handle if we went to Vandy and we lost by a field goal, but we played a really hard nosed physical football game and didn't get out hit, out, physical. But Vandy beat us.
Hmm.
They didn't
Yep,
win the football game.
we did it.
They won the fight. They beat us in a fight. And as LSU, coming from all those historical defenses and this and that, we don't get out physical. We got out physical. We got beat. We lost the fight. That should never happen. And just for that reason, Brian Kelly's got to go. It happens too many times that we get out physical by teams we shouldn't have.
You're right.
At the end of his career at LSU, that's why we had to eventually, besides the fact that his playbook was from the early 1900s, you know, that's what got left in trouble. Was his defenses became softer than I, I ain't even got an analogy for how soft the LSU defense was underneath. Uh, you know, I don't have anything. I don't have an analogy. It was bad, and it's even worse.
You just spent, brother.
Keeps getting worse. You know, it keeps getting worse. It's never gonna get better. It keeps getting worse. I don't
Listen,
like.
I just I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I know, just you, like I said earlier, you're in the boat with pretty much a lot of the fan base. Like I said, just I mean, I don't mind defending the coach if the thing about having these conversations is so layered, but like I said, I just do it in step at a time. I said, unless I want him to stay another year, but if it goes that bad, if they just fall off the cliff this year, then I can justify giving them the axe. But I just yeah, he's helped restabilize the program,
Yeah,
because it was awful at the end of Edo.
yeah. You show me as somebody okay with being with losing, or not, that's a loser. You know, but if in these games where we lost, we were, you know, physical. We were tackling. We didn't have any broken tackles. We were, you know, it would be one thing. But the fact of the matter is, we have gotten out physical, and we got out physical even in a win against South Carolina. I felt that they out physical us. But I will.
Yeah,
It's not only our defense that was soft. How many times were we at the 1 yard line in the last 2 weeks?
yep.
3. How many touchdowns did we score? None.
Doing it.
None. You were at the 1 yard line. You mean to tell me your offensive line? I know they are horrible because their coach is horrible too. Can't get any push inward, and your running back can't run the ball straight up the middle. Your quarterback can't run a QB sneak and go. I know a lot of that's play calling. I know a lot of it's play calling, but it is piss poor. You you didn't play freshman football with us, did you?
Nah,
No, I know you went for gut check during sophomore year, but you didn't make the season, did you?
no, yeah, my grades started to drop. I was like, yeah, I'm tapping out. Feel like it was gonna be a big distraction. I was just like,
Yeah. Well,
it's funny. Like, I was already in good shape at that time. Like, that was in the best shape. Get check. I mean, the best shape of my life.
yeah, a lot of us were. A lot of us were dying too. But my point being,
So it was working. This.
I did have a point in the lead up to this. In high school, when we would start losing, and this is a thing for baseball too. A good saying I would always hear is "Stop the bleeding." You know, stop the bleeding. Brian Kelly, all we're begging you to do is stop the bleeding.
Yep.
We're wounded right now. Last year, you were wounded, and they just shot you in the head. You were dead. You were done. You lost to Florida, and then you thought the rest of your season was over with. And I think if that game against Vandy, that bounce back game that we had, a little bit of a bounce back in, I think if that game was in Nashville last year, we would have had the same conversation last year as we're having right now. I don't see it. I don't see Brian Kelly righting this ship. I don't think he has it. The fact of the matter is, right now, if you search up Joe Sloan's name right now, and it says offensive coordinator at LSU, that should tell you right now that Brian Kelly doesn't have it. He is delusional. He might have early onset dementia. That he thinks Joe Sloan is out there and he's doing a fantastic job. You know, I don't know what it's going on, but he needs to go. He just needs to go. I'm tired of him. We have these conversations. We've been having these conversations about Brian Kelly for what, 4 years now? Is that how long we've been stuck with him?
This is fourth season.
Yeah, we've been stuck with him for 4 years now.
Fourth season. This is fourth season.
Yeah. We have this conversation every single year. Mainly, we have this conversation at the beginning of the year when you go on and lose to teams you have no business losing to. You know, and you know what the sad thing is? He'll get that 6th win and become bowl eligible, and instead of his buyout going down, it'll go up because the way these coaches are getting paid now, they're like, let's reward him for getting to somewhere that nobody wants to see you play in. The bowl game. Speaking of bowl games,
That's the interesting thing. Like, I see a lot of these contracts now. Like, just I wonder how, like, with like the coaching shifts. There are a lot of fires this year so far. We still got a month to go. Let's say if it tanks for them, um, I wonder how that's going to change coaching contracts.
I think coaching contracts,
Just like on a short term.
they won't pay as much on the buyout. I think the only idiot who sets these buyouts that high, though, for coaches that are just not that good, unfortunately, is Scott Woodard. Because if you look at it, Jimbo Shrimp, sure, he won one game with Jameis Winston, one national championship with Jameis Winston at Florida State. Then he goes in, he celebrates winning the LSU game, with, first of all, they didn't win that game in overtime. The game never should have went to overtime. Matt Austin screwed up because he don't know the rules. Funny enough, he's the rules expert that they always go to during these football games. And half the time when he talks, you can tell he's not even watching the game. But he hired him and he gave him all that money, and he's still the highest buyout in history of college football. We shouldn't have to pay you that much money to come to LSU. I mean, I get it. We've got to compete with other places, but I don't know. It's a money-making thing. Just a money-making
That's how I see it. Oh, yeah.
It's not going to change. We're not going to change it. But they need to be. You shouldn't be paid that much to suck at your job that much. That's my opinion.
Yeah, man. Just like I said, yeah, I respect it. Just like I said, it's just going to come down. This last month is so important.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Being wrong. Just
I don't mind being wrong
like
either.
I said, if I
Love
can support a
LSU.
team. Yeah.
I do love LSU. I don't think, given the circumstances and stuff, I don't think Brian Kelly has it in him to right this ship. He's proven time in and time out that he just can't do it at LSU. Maybe if he was at Notre Dame and he was playing those other schools that don't have to play the big boys, you know, he would be fine. But
Right.
you playing the big dogs now, boy. You gotta do something. You can't just sit there and be like, "Oh, I think this will work." And let's give the kid who almost messed up his tryout a shot. You know, his tryout was when he had that. What was it? The Wisconsin game that we had
Yeah,
to come from behind and win.
yeah, I think so.
He almost messed that up. You know, I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know,
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's not the start it's not the trajectory we had hoped. It started very promising, at least especially defensively. Like I said, there's something that's to be salvaged. Just really see how can you regalvanize this
yeah,
unit? Because they started off with like the 1-0 mindset every game. I just want to see how they respond.
yep. Starting off, they just got to respond. But I just don't. I don't have any faith in this team. You know, I do have. Before I forget, I do have a birthday shout out. Um, Happy birthday, Michaela. I know it's on Friday and this is Wednesday, but happy birthday. Okay. Now, what else we got on the thing? You think they?
I think we covered everything basically. Like I said, just yeah, because a lot of there are two of those questions like still in the control. Do they control their destiny? Can they be saved? Like I said, gotta win out, need help. I just feel like I can just see them going like what is it? We 7 games, 7 games, and 3-2 the rest of the way.
Yeah,
But but ideally, win out, need help. I don't know where the help comes from, but they need it.
yeah, they need
They
it.
need it desperately.
Uh, but shifting gears to a more traditional winning team. You know, let's talk about baseball for a little while. How do you like Tony Vitello going to the Giants?
Yeah, my coworker he sent me that other day. I was like, wow, that's that's something right there. Yeah, I'm like, I mean, won a title there. Hey,
Yeah.
how they want
Do you
how they want to
agree?
deal with the new landscape. I assume that's what.
Do you agree with Jay Johnson that Louisiana is the capital for college baseball?
Without question. Why wouldn't it be?
I mean, you got LSU won it. You got LSU Shreveport who set the I think they set the collegiate record. They went 59-0 and won the World Series. You know,
Yep.
completely forgot about them.
LSU has won. LSU has won multiple championships in multiple decades. Let me say it again: multiple championships in multiple decades in baseball. Four in
They
the '90s, two in the 2000s, and two in the 2020s.
Yeah, and they should have had one in the 2010s.
Yeah, we fell short.
Well, we fell
But,
short.
hey, listen,
We had a
they've
couple of key injuries.
at least been unbelievably steady.
Yeah, baseball has
Yeah,
always been a steady one. I think the only year we didn't make a regional or something was 2010 or 2011.
that's about right.
Yeah, but we got a lot of stuff going on. But I wish we had Mississippi State on the schedule. Because for both Texas A&M and Florida, all it took was a win against Mississippi State to get the undesirable coach out. Texas A&M fired Jimbo Shrimp after they
I
beat
mean,
and then Florida just fired Billy Napier not after the horrible loss to Texas A&M. They fired him after he won against Mississippi State. What does that say to you as a program, Mississippi State, that teams are getting killed the week before that, but waiting till they beat you to fire their coach? They're basically saying a win against you is as worse as a loss. You know?
yeah. I was looking up about the baseball real quick. Last time they played in Rio was 2011,
Yeah.
like you said. And before that, it was we had like two in a row, like in 26 and 27, 2006 and 2007, and back to backs. So basically, the end of Smoke Lavelle and the start of Pulmonary, and then previously it was 1988. So
Yeah. It's a rich history there.
steady fixture, man.
Yeah. That we have two LSU boys playing for. They go get a World Series ring. LSU's about to get a World Series ring no matter what.
Who you got winning?
I don't know who I got winning, to be honest.
When did it? You think Dodgers gonna repeat?
Nah, I don't know. I haven't watched enough MLB this year to say.
Yeah, Dodgers looking tough. I really want the Blue Jays to win.
Yeah, you got Kevin
I wanted
Gausman.
the Mariners to win, but more the Blue Jays. But
Yeah, you got Blue Jays with Kevin Gausman, and you got Paul Treves playing for LA. LSU comes out with a World Series win no matter what. But I'll go with Blue Jays.
I just want, yeah, Dodgers been dominant. I really want the Blue Jays to take it. I know they beat my Yankees, but I just don't want to see no Dodgers winning again.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that again.
That is me though.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
We're glad we're on the same page.
Like-
glad we're on the same page.
Like every year with Alabama when they somehow eke their way into the playoffs. Now this year, if they do, they look pretty damn good. They deserve it this year. But a couple of years ago, they didn't deserve it. They eked their way in. I think it was only because Saban announced his retirement that he eked his way in. It was last one.
Yeah, lost to Michigan 2023. Yeah, last season. Yep.
I'm eager to see how it goes down the rest of the season. I'm eager to see how the World Series goes down. And at this point, I'll go watch LSU's fall baseball, where they just scrimmage themselves over going to sit in Tiger Stadium and watch Brian Kelly coach team lose to Texas A&M, to Arkansas, and if we lose to Western Kentucky, he doesn't even need to make the post-game conference. He just needs to be fired.
Listen, I'm with you there.
I can't see him. I can't see him coming out of that one. I really can't see it. We are hitting up on this hour mark, so we will,
The call,
we will end this here.
brother.
So have a good one. Again, happy birthday. Happy 28th birthday, Michaela. Happy birthday. Y'all.
Don't forget, get your blank canvas t-shirt too.
Yeah. Have a good day, a good night. Whatever you have, just make it a good one. We are signing off.